And hello, the bell has rung and we are ready for the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes YouTube channel. It is time to start slamming, to start jamming, and we're going to go over all of the major events in the wacky world of professional wrestling over the last week or so. On the show tonight, we may have some mystery run-ins, but TJ, say hello to the people.
Hey people, I'm TJ. I'm not reporting from my mom's basement because since I figured Tony Khan wouldn't pay me for being pro AEW, I got my own job and I'm in my office right now. So yeah.
No, absolutely. Gosh, Tony Khan, he is someone that has, like, he has lost his status as the savior of pro wrestling. Perhaps the inmates are running the asylum. It's all going a little bit crazy. Apparently, Ace Steel, the update on Ace Steel got released.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was he released? Was he fired? Did he quit? You know, AEW isn't a promotion like WWE where they'll actually ever announce anything that's happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we don't get any fun future endeavor style thing. Or maybe it's that AEW don't wish people well with their future endeavors.
Could be.
Yeah. What's next for Ace Steel, do you think, TJ?
I don't know about Ace Steel. I honestly, before he showed up, I wasn't even sure he was like a part of AEW. I'm more curious, and we have our run-in.
Well, sorry, TJ. Sorry to interrupt you there, but we need to give Corey his future endeavors now. Yeah. That's it. So thank God that was painless. That was painless. You know, I was thinking I was going to have to ghost you like Tony Khan would to any of his roster.
Too real. Too soon.
Ace Steel is apparently gone.
Yeah, what a loss for the wrestling community. Ace
Steel. How will AEW ever survive?
I don't know. Like, you know, he trained such greats as Colt Cabana and CM Punk, and that's all I literally know about Ace Steel. His last name is Guy. His actual name is something
Ace
like
Guy.
Yeah, GUI Guy.
Ace Guy.
Ace Guy. Yeah. So he was the right guy for the job, but not anymore. Now,
did he marry someone whose last name was Gal?
Well, that wouldn't matter because, like, the thing is, well, it's something I'll get into another time. But his wife's name is Lucy Guy, so she took his name.
But was she Lucy Gal or Lucy Lass before?
Lucy Lass.
I don't know. Lawless, yeah, gotcha.
Lucy Lawless, love it. Oh my God, whatever happened to her? I don't know what that means, but sure. Right, okay. Corey, how are you? Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. Thank you so much for having me on. I just had the world's largest mozzarella stick. It was, yeah.
Do you know, Corey, a minute ago, I don't have the packaging anymore, but I had a cereal bar, and it was like in Canadian maple syrup.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Canadians, AEW went to Canada like a week ago, and you were there. You were our man on the ground.
I was there. I was in Toronto. Dynamite, baby.
So, in fact, I think you were the first of the Slam Jam extended universe to actually attend an AEW event. Like, what was it like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was great, like, just seeing everybody. I mean, I was a bit disappointed because MJF didn't come out and cut a promo live and in person because he's been on fire recently. I know it's a hot take. A lot of people don't like what he's doing. Think he's overrated, Mr. Regal. But it was an excellent show overall. Huge props for everybody, especially obviously Bizarro Land. So even Christian got a huge pop.
Well, yeah, but he was in Canada, right? So...
Exactly. Yeah. Like JR used to call it Bizarro World because anytime a heel came out that was a Canadian, they'd still get a huge pop. And like also Jericho too. Ring of Jericho, baby.
Ring of Jericho, yeah, absolutely. So anyway, what were we saying? What breaking news stories? So Ace Steel has been fired. Did we see Dynamite from last night? Adam Hangman Page, or not last night, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Adam Page was knocked out in the main event, and AEW did what they could to keep the show going. But the thing that always bothers me is that it feels like they never have a proper contingency plan. They need to sit down and say, right, so what is our contingency plan? Any match going on in the ring right now, we just need to know who we need to be on standby in case we need a contingency plan.
But they did something. They announced
Yes, they did
MJF
something. But what they did is they went to the announce desk, and Taz kept talking over like, oh, we're just looking at what's happening in the ring here, instead of just talking about the matches on the screen. Then it looked like the Fiend was going to turn up because the whole ring just suddenly was washed in red.
Or the Boogeyman, we don't know.
Or the Boogeyman. And then Moxley got the mic and it just started whistling like it was too close to a speaker. And he was like, I'm trying to keep the show together here. It's all going downhill. But no, they did what they could. But I think situations like this, to me, always highlight that every other situation where someone gets injured and then like the show flows perfectly, that's obviously a work. And then where something's actually unplanned, they completely shit the bed on it. And it's just like they're in panic mode.
This kind of made me like if you look at the timing, it kind of made me think if Hangman was, say, if he did not get knocked out, would they have done the same thing? Because, I mean, ideally...
What, MJF?
Hear me out. So, I hope we get into this in some time, but MJF had like a brilliant promo segment with William Regal earlier that night.
Yeah.
And it was MJF cashing in, not at that moment, but at Full Gear, was a continuation of that. Like, it made perfect sense. Earlier that night, William Regal tells MJF to earn it. MJF teases that he's going to cash in at that point, but doesn't, and says, that for the first time I'm going to earn it and all that. So, if Hangman was not knocked out, would they have done the same thing? It made sense to do it on the night MJF had that promo with Regal. If you look at the time, that actually makes me think, if he is really injured, I hope he's okay. But that actually makes me think, was that unplanned? Because just look at the time scale. Like, AEW main events, especially title matches, are usually around 30 minutes long. 10-15 minutes into the match, Hangman gets knocked out. Then they do the rest of the thing, which also takes the rest of the 15 minutes. There was like, Tony Khan did not say that they were going overtime or anything. Was this always the plan?
So you think this was a work?
No, wait. Not just that. They were going head to head with NXT, and when this happened, everyone started talking about Hangman. Everyone, even WWE superstars, wrestlers started talking about Hangman. Was this again? Like I said, if he is really injured, I hope he's okay. I hope get well soon, Hangman. But if you look at just again, I don't want to get tinfoily, but look at the timeline. You have a 30-minute Dynamite title match main event. 15 minutes into the match, this guy gets knocked out, and then for the rest of the 15 minutes, maybe the first 2-3 minutes, they came up with all of that on the fly. If they did that, what were they going to do if the match went on? Because the whole MJF thing totally made sense. Like the way he teased a cash in, and then he saw Regal, he's like, no, I'm doing this, and it kind of fits.
I'll give you my quick thought on it. I think, and I am the one who, and you'll hear more about this in the future, I think, that a lot of what they've done recently is potentially a work. The whole backstage brawl thing, I think, was...
Brawl for All.
The Brawl for All. WCW Backstage Assault, the video game. I think
Brawl for All Elite Wrestling.
The Brawl for All Elite... Oh my god, that's a good name. Right, okay. I think that there's a strong possibility a lot of that was a work and the blurring of lines and all that. This one, it didn't... We've seen AEW's attempts at a worked shoot before. like everything with MJF, where he was saying "you effing Mark" and stuff like this to Tony Khan, and he's being given TV time. That was a work. Playing MJF's voicemails, like okay, Tony Khan in his very excitable voice, was like, okay, we're going to bring you back, blah blah blah, on the voicemail, and they just happened to play this before his return. Worked shoot. That's the level I think AEW are with their work shoots. On this one, the lights going wonky, the mic's going wonky. Like, because when you watch it on TV, when you see like what people were filming in the arena and Hangman's down on the mat and they're taking the bottom rope down, what they showed on TV is after the ref like stopped the match and Doc Samson or whoever got in the ring to him. After about another 10 or 15 seconds, they didn't film Hangman at all. And I think that's a sign that if they wanted to keep that this was a storyline or work or whatever, they would have kept filming Hangman. But they kept it anywhere but Hangman because they didn't know if he broke his neck or what. They didn't know what the issue was yet. And then Moxley on the mic, he was like, I just hope that he can walk away again and see his child. And it was a bit too real. You know, it was like when if you hadn't seen what was happening in the arena, you'd just be like, oh my God, how serious is this? You know, so I don't think this was work, but I think a lot of what they have done recently potentially is. Corey, what's your view on it?
Yeah, well, I think you don't want to, as this man once said, work yourself into a shoot, brother. Much love, HH. But yeah, I think that potentially last night the Hangman issue was a real concern at the time, or they did a hell of a job selling it. For all, still don't really know. You had some compelling arguments, David, but yeah, I don't know. I hope that things clear over. I don't think they can recover either way with that. I think because CM Punk came in as this big like returning hero and all that stuff, and there's a video comparison of him being like, I can't wait to work with like the new talent and like, you know, elevate these people, and then shortly after there's like a video of that press conference of him being like, I'm old, I'm tired, and I'm over it. And it's like, okay, well then maybe you shouldn't have come back, basically.
Yeah.
Like I think if it was a work, they really did a real dent to the goodwill that CM Punk had gotten. Yeah,
I agree with that entirely.
Yeah, but if it's a shoot, then yeah, he just clearly revealed his real cards. And
well, do you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll reveal something behind the magic here. I'm working on like some more long form videos and stuff on stuff, and that is the subject of a video that I'm working on at the moment. I've been working on like scripting it, and I'm going to piece editing stuff and piecing together. I make the compelling argument for why it's a work, but I also very much acknowledge that it may not be a work at all. But the bigger point is that the world of professional wrestling, which for 100 years told everyone that everything was real, and then it just turns out it's not. They're in the situation where they're the boy who cried wolf, who now you don't know what to believe. And I think that's exactly what you should want nowadays, because everyone knows it's a work. You want to make it so now people just don't know. That's when they're really doing their job properly.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I've been holding this for the last minute. I just wanted to hold up that I had these 3 letters on these cards. No real purpose to it. But when I've been
holding this behind me for the last 3 minutes.
There you go. Yeah, you've got to do these things. Okay.
I don't have anything to show except for bacon-flavored chips that I found.
Wow.
What you found? What do you mean you found?
I mean, I didn't know they existed. I found them at the supermarket.
Oh, okay.
One thing that I will say, David, about the Toronto show, it was incredible. The merch was so sad. It was just shirts that said AEW. There was no like, nobody on the roster got like merch through. But I was excited because Mark Sterling had not yet trademarked scissoring, so Toronto scissored hard.
Got to. Do you know what? Like, okay, so a few weeks ago, I was at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Royal Quest 2.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the merch there, Like now, there was a Bullet Club shirt. There was a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt. There was like this is New Japan Pro Wrestling hoodie, which's got like 50th anniversary or something on the back. But then they did have a few shirts for individual wrestlers, and this being a show in the UK, there wasn't any shirts for any of the UK talents on the show, and there was a bunch from whatever promotion, Progress or whatever. But then there's like Will Ospreay. There's who else was on the show? I forget. But there were English wrestlers that didn't get representation in the merch at all, and so who knows why they do this.
Can I interrupt the conversation because
you can do, but I had actually stopped speaking, so as an interruption, it was wide open.
Fair enough, but I have some breaking news.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tristan Nash, the son of Kevin Nash, passed away at the age of 26.
Oh, boy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Tristan Nash. Okay, I'll be honest. That's very sad. I haven't heard of Tristan Nash. Was it 26?
26. He's younger than me.
Oh wow, that's really sad to hear. Oh my gosh! It also says here, AEW lead video engineer Brian Muster suddenly passes away.
And that's the next, yeah.
Well, that's very, very sad to read. Mid-show.
Yeah. Our condolences to.
Yeah, condolences. What happened? Does it say what happened with either of them? I'll click on.
I'll click on Tristan.
Yeah, I'll click on the other one.
Well, folks, being at the show live.
Yes, tell us, Corey.
Yeah.
I mean, this happens a lot, man. When Eddie Guerrero passed away, that was huge for a lot of wrestling fans. So yeah, it definitely does suck.
It does. Do you know? It's a weird thing. Just I remember like a time period. I was at college at the time, and it was around 2004, 2005, where every single week, like this was in a time before I'd got the internet at home, so I'd go to college. Yeah. And like I'd go to the library and use the computer, and I'd just go on wrestling websites, which you weren't supposed to do. And every single week for like 5, 6, 8 weeks in a row, there was like Crash Holly died, Road Warrior Hawk died, Miss Elizabeth died, and stuff like this. The Wall died from WCW and stuff. All of these were in a similar time period. And in the end, as a wrestling fan, I dreaded looking up any of the wrestling news because it was so frequent at one point.
Yes, yeah, totally.
I'll come back to that. So apparently, the Nash family, they want people to respect their privacy. So we don't know what happened. However, sadly enough, today is also Scott Hall's 64th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tough year for Nash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a tough day for him going forward.
Yeah. Coming back to what you said, like, for me, when Eddie Guerrero passed away, I was very young, but that was probably the first celebrity passing away that really affected me, because before that, I really did not, because they made such a huge deal out of it, and rightfully so, on Raw. I was a huge Eddie Guerrero fan. Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels. Like, Eddie Guerrero is the reason I really caught on to wrestling. I still remember, I used to watch wrestling before this specific incident, but Eddie Guerrero had a steel cage match with JBL, and he was at the top of the cage, and he's like, should I escape or should I do a frog splash to cover him? And Eddie did a frog splash from the top of the cage. That moment, for some reason, that was when I realized I'm going to be a wrestling fan for life. I used to watch wrestling before that. I used to watch a lot of wrestling, but that was the moment that was like, yeah, this is me. This gives me such a thrill.
Also,
Corey, I was going to say, what's your story? Like, similar thing?
Well, I mean, it's very, very similar. Eddie's, it was a match versus Mr. Kennedy, and he did the classic hit the mat, toss the chair, fall down. and I was like, oh, this guy is great. I can't wait to see them work together. And that was his last match ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, that's
But Corey,
rough. But yeah.
do you have a story? At what point did you know that you'd be a wrestling fan forever? Like how TJ said, was there a moment?
The debut of the Boogeyman.
See, I knew it'd be something like that, Corey. I just knew it would. Right, and that's just dampens my. Well, no, I was going to say a nonsense one as well, but you've stolen my thunder now. I was going to be like the gobbledygooker at Survivor Series, but I don't know. Like probably Shockmaster. For me, it was like I started watching. Like I think the first. I was already a wrestling fan, but I really got into it. Not SummerSlam, Royal Rumble 1992 when Ric Flair won the Rumble, and I was like, wanted Hulk Hogan to win, and Sid threw him out, and stuff like this. But like I remember just before that, because that was obviously early in the year, for the Christmas before I'd got a Hulk Hogan action figure, but my dad then got me a WCW El Gigante action figure. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. I was such an El Gigante fan. And then obviously that's Giant Gonzalez, in WWF. And obviously his career didn't go that far. But the figure was like this big compared to like Hulk Hogan that was that big. It was insane.
That's right. Yeah, that'll sell to a kid for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, jeez, wow.
Did he come with a hairsuit too?
No, this was the WCW version, so he was El Gigante. When WWF did a Giant Gonzalez figure, he was like tiny. He was, I swear, I think in my head he was like shorter than the Andre the Giant figure. There was real politicking going on there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like my first wrestling memory was like this documentary on AXN where they were showing like about wrestling and stuff. I don't remember much, but I remember Kane and Hogan. Like Hogan was Mr. America back then. So,
but how young are you?
I was born in '94.
Oh my God! Wow.
Child.
Okay, Grandpa. Okay. So, but yeah, that was like my first memory. But speaking of funny things, I remember another Eddie Guerrero memory. It was a SmackDown. Eddie was probably feuding with either JBL or Kurt Angle, and I think someone put a bounty on Eddie or something like this, and it was supposed to be Big Show versus Eddie or something like that. Eddie manages to give Big Show some food, and then Big Show gets like a stomachache. He has like food poisoning. And then he has to go, and then Big Show's crying, and then I remember one of my friends who was watching with me is like, "How do you watch this?" And I'm like, "This is so amazing. This guy got out of a match by food poisoning his opponent, and Big Show, this huge guy, is crying." And I'm like, "This is the greatest thing ever. I totally need to watch this."
He was sports entertained by Vince's best.
Okay, so one thing I was going to come on to here, just like if I don't know if anyone saw like NXT and stuff, like the tease that Austin Theory is going to cash in his Money in the Bank for a shot on Bron Breakker, on Booty Jr., the Booty nephew. Like I just think like does Triple H genuinely just can't stand Austin Theory? This is
I think. Sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, I think the reason they're doing it is because there's no way Austin Theory is a credible threat against Roman Reigns, based on, like, Reigns has been champion for friggin' ever. It's got to be somebody huge. I mean, this would strap a rocket to Austin Theory, but it would also turn him into a massive heel, somebody that new, that young, dethroning Roman Reigns.
I mean, he doesn't have to dethrone Reigns. He could cash in on the person that beats Reigns.
Well, yeah. If I was Austin Theory right now, I would go into business for myself. I'd like do a video on Twitter or Instagram, and it'd be like, I'm categorically cashing in for the Universal title, not this NXT garbage. It's like, just fire me already. I know clearly you hate me, but
then wouldn't it be better for him to successfully cash in on the NXT title over having a failed cash in on the Universal title?
No, like who was it? Was it like Charlotte or someone won the
Yeah,
Royal
Charlotte, she
Rumble,
won the Royal
and
Rumble,
then she
and
went for
then
the NXT
yeah,
championship?
Yeah.
Like we already know the outcome of this. No one cares.
hmm
Wow. Is it because NXT or is it because of women's wrestling, David?
Well, no, like it's because NXT got defeated by AEW. I wouldn't want that that stank on me.
They even got defeated this week when AEW
Yeah.
wasn't even on its regular
Yeah,
show night.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. But
But
that's
yeah,
because it's their developmental, as Triple H admitted a few weeks ago.
No, but he also once said it's not, and now I think, I don't know.
But then again, if Austin Theory is cashing in his money in the bank, it's the NXT title is a world championship. Then they are treating it as a world championship and not a developmental championship.
And on last night's NXT, they had Kevin Owens, they had the Good Brothers, they had Austin Theory, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
And I think there's somebody else that they downgraded to NXT recently too. I mean, Dolph was on there for a while. Apollo Crews, is he still there?
I don't know.
I don't watch the product.
I don't watch NXT very often. Like I'll watch it. They've got Halloween Havoc this weekend, right? I'll watch Halloween Havoc, but
That's next week. This week, David.
well, I don't know. Right. Okay. Yeah, go on, TJ.
Speaking of AEW, what did you guys think of the MJF promo? Not just the scissoring, but the entire MJF thing with William Regal.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really good. Like Regal's great on the mic, and MJF is the best on the mic that they've got.
But I just feel like, so there are wrestlers who have, I think I saw this in a meme, or like, this is not a meme, but a post that said some wrestlers are lucky enough to have one career-defining promo. MJF has had like 4 in the last year, and he's just 26 years old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's because
Can't teach that. I guess you can't teach that.
Yeah, but like, okay, but like CM Punk has had loads, and Roddy Piper had loads, and I'm sure Ric Flair, when you think about it.
I mean, but when you're talking about a CM Punk or a Roddy Piper or Ric Flair, these are like legends in the business. That just tells you how big MJF is going to be, and the guy is just 26.
Yeah. To that end, like when I was live at AEW in Toronto, MJF cut a promo, and it was on the Titantron, like the Jumbotron, and my buddy, who I brought with me, he's like a laps wrestling fan, like he's like more
He's a lap wrestling fan. What?
Yeah. But
No,
he's like lapsed. He did laps. But and like he did the promo. It was all backstage, all on the Jumbotron, and the guy, like my friend Bobby, turns to me. He's like, "Oh my god, this guy's great." He's like the next like Martin Scorsese of this. Like it's insane. Like he's like De Niro. He's killing it. And I was like, "Yeah, he's really good at it." He's like, "Oh my god, this guy's great. He's gonna go place." I'm like, "Yeah, man,
Yeah,
he for sure is." Like so, like even like people that don't know wrestling, like know that this guy can bring it. You know.
Do you think MJF should go to WWE next year if he still actually has the option?
Oh, I think they wouldn't be able to use him right.
Yeah.
I think MJF should do everything he can to go to WWE next year. Because he's young enough that he can go to WWE. He won't fail there. He can have 3 years there, and then he can go back to AEW if he wants to hop back and forth. But if he gets too... Like, the unfortunate thing is, for anything that AEW is doing, they're still seen as, like... You know, they're still, like, the second fiddle.
Yeah.
So if he wants to truly, you know, be immortal, he needs to get a stint in WWE.
See, that's where I'll disagree, because while MJF is like he says, a generational talent, MJF goes to WWE, like Corey said, they might just not be able to use him properly. And the thing about WWE is that in case something or the other happens and something goes wrong, one promo goes wrong, they will not care. They will make MJF, they will bury him. They will not care. Like how many great wrestlers
Yeah, but that was Vince. That was Vince.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
yeah,
that
you have a good point.
I don't, but I don't. I mean, again, we are. I feel like with Triple H right now has the cool factor, the factor that AEW had when it first came into existence. Will this be the thing? Which is also something that I wanted to discuss. I don't know if you guys heard or not. Triple H blocked Carl Anderson's New Japan.
So you're gonna say he blocked Carl Anderson on Twitter? I'll be like, damn!
Yeah,
Imagine signing.
Carl Anderson was supposed to defend the Never Openweight Championship against Hikuleo. Triple H booked him on the same day at Crown Jewel. So yeah, I mean, you can bring the argument that Carl Anderson signed to WWE. He wasn't under, but still, I think it's pretty, especially when
a bad taste in your mouth for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I was just gonna say that, like, it's. I feel like for Carl Anderson, like that the pay difference is huge. Like those Crown Jewel shows are like insane. He was obviously going to drop the title in Japan, but yeah, it definitely is like a kind of a dickish move to have it on the exact same day, and like it's not even possible for him to fly from one place to it's physically impossible.
Okay, but you think the payday he'll get at Crown Jewel, he was probably like, you know, Hunter, just tell them I can't go, like, because otherwise, imagine you've got to go and do the job for like $1,000 versus the $10,000 job. You'll be like, just tell them I can't go. I've signed a contract with you. You know, that way he gets to stay champion a bit longer. You know, it's totally a win for him.
Yeah, totally. But I still feel like on WWE's part, and Triple H is someone who has wanted the WWE monopoly as much, if not more, than Vince has. Like with NXT UK and now NXT Japan, like he does want that. So that's what I'm saying. Like in 2 years or so, when MJF is in WWE, what if the first MJF promo does not do as well as another segment? Do they just drop the ball on MJF? Do they? And then I think with MJF, also one of the things that actually makes MJF so good is the freedom that he's given. If he is not given the same thing in WWE, he will, if he goes to WWE and if they use him right, he will be an immortal, no doubt about that. But I feel like if he stays in AEW, he might actually be one of the catalysts that takes AEW to that next level. I think he can still do it being in AEW. He can be somewhat similar to, or a part of, somewhat similar to what the NWO was for WCW. I'm not saying the exact same thing, but he can be their main, like people would, you know, tune in every week to watch MJF. People would be like, I'm watching AEW because of MJF.
I think he needs to get onto Raw, because unless he does, he will forever be a less famous Miz.
Got him. Yeah, the Miz. Yeah.
Well, that was a callback to a Punk promo, but yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I got that. Yeah, he the Miz is. Oh.
No, okay, good. Well, anyway, what else is okay? So it was last week, I guess now, but we had the DX reunion on Raw that we've not reacted to. What were the thoughts on that? I thought it was.
So you thought it was
what?
What do you think it was?
I thought it was good. What do you think I was going to say?
I don't know. I think it's funny, like, if you look at the difference between what they did on Raw and what Billy Gunn is doing on AEW, it is leaps and bounds different. Like, it's wild how over, like, Rover he is, and like yeah, they were yucking it up, having a good time, and had some, like, funny lines, but, like, arguably, Billy Gunn is still, like, relevant, and I mean, sure, he stepped on his own kids to get where he is.
Yeah, that's the funniest part. He has never been more over in his entire career, and he literally he was like with 2 tag teams, and it's like, well, these guys and me are getting over, so he dropped his own children to do so.
Yeah, as you do. I guess. Yeah, but yeah, like the DX thing, it was fun and all, but it felt. I mean, they finally acknowledged China on like WWE programming, like proper, like a Raw. That was nice, and they were having fun. But that's all that was. Whereas like Billy Gunn, former member of DX, New Age Outlaws, like he's still in it. These other guys have definitely like moved on. I guess it's just a difference of opinion and what you want in life and stuff like that. But it's just so funny that like literally on the same week they were like, "Look at how old and broken down we are," and
D-geriatric X, you know.
Exactly, and then Billy Gunn, bigger than he's ever been, more over than he's ever been.
But he's also like a better wrestler than he's ever been.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's because he wrestles in a style which is from a bygone era, and he just seems so more like compared to the entire AEW roster, except for like the Big Show, he is larger than all of them by like 200 pounds and by like 7 inches. Like he dwarfs them, he throws them about. He's never looked more like a superhero with his strength, you know. And he just like smashes them. They go to do stuff, he sidesteps it. You know.
Wait, isn't the Big Show still signed with AEW?
Yeah.
What's
He does Elevation Dark.
He does Elevation Dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All white, baby.
Do either of you watch Dark or Elevation?
Sometimes.
Dark
not
Elevation.
Always, depending if there's something very good going on.
If it's got Abaddon, the female boogeyman.
The female boogie.
Sometimes they have very good matches though. Like not maybe a very high profile wrestler, but like someone on the indie scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Apparently in the Toronto Dark show, Athena.
Toronto Dark.
Toronto Dark.
Yeah.
There was a Toronto taping of Dark, and Athena worked a local female wrestler, and apparently Athena might step on her. And they got a talking to from Tony Khan.
Wow, yeah, Joe, I actually, I think I've seen some clips of that. She, like, just demolished her.
Is that the match that ticked off Jim Cornette? Because he has been complaining about Athena
Something
recently.
ticked off Jim Cornette?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
No, that can't be possible.
You must be a mistake.
Yeah. You know, he's normally so positive to everything that everything AEW or the modern wrestling world do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he said that Athena was too brutal in some match, and he's like, she is trash and should not wrestle, and blah blah blah.
She's got a great finisher and a good presence, and she built her own wings. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, do you know what? That's reminded me. Somewhere not far from here, speaking of Mr. Cornette.
Hot wings?
I've got wings, yeah. 1 second. Is this it? Now, for a while, I've had Jim Cornette Presents Behind the Curtain. And I was given this a couple of years ago. But the thing that's interesting here, just let's put something a bit more gamified in this. He's got a glossary of pro wrestling terms. So let's a challenge between you. I'm going to tell you the term, and then you have to buzz in and tell me, according to Jim Cornette. And as far I literally just remembered this a few weeks ago, so thinking this would be good for like a quiz round. As far as I can remember, all of these I don't think anything's disputable. These are correct terms. So I will do them in non-alphabetical order. You have to buzz in and tell me what the definition of the terms are.
How are we buzzing?
Say buzz, give a wave. You know, standard extreme improv buzzing in rules. Okay, so what is a bump?
Buzz.
Corey.
When you I was going to say take a bump.
The definition cannot include the word that just is the definition.
All right, take it, TJ.
When you drop someone on their head.
No.
Buzz. Okay.
Yeah, Corey.
It's when a wrestler takes a move that could potentially hurt them.
Okay.
Well, yeah, right. when they take a fall, so they take a bump, they land. Okay.
Right, take a bump. Right.
What is the meaning of the word color?
Buzz.
Corey.
When somebody bleeds.
It is. To get color means to bleed. Next up, what is an arena rat?
Buzz.
TJ.
Jim Cornette in any arena.
Bonus point for the humor. Do you?
But I would really like to. I think that was inappropriate and can be offensive in some cultures. I'm really sorry. I really did not mean to insult any rat on the planet.
Okay, do you actually have a definition though, Corey?
I think it's a pretty rude term, but I think it has to do with like women that would hang around the arena to date the wrestlers.
Yeah, it's a female groupie is the basic idea of it.
Yeah.
You know, let's see what we've got next. What is the meaning of hard way? Ooh.
Buzz.
Corey.
Oh, I think it's in a table spot when somebody goes the vertical instead of like across the table, like they go like this with the table instead of like this with the table. Does that make sense?
An inventive answer, but completely wrong. No.
Hard way, hardwood.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Right. TJ.
I have no idea. I have thoughts that would be inappropriate if the show was PG. So.
Oh my God. Right. Okay. Well, I'll just tell you.
I have answers that would be inappropriate.
It's when you bust someone open, like with actual blows. So, like, I'll give the example. Like, a couple of years back, at least now, Brock Lesnar hard-weighed Randy Orton in a match.
Also, recently, Hangman Page on the AEW Dynamite in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the best city in the world. When he was doing his promo and like hitting himself in the head, he got blood the hard way.
Yeah.
He actually made his like forehead bleed.
Wow. Okay, so here's one for you. Do you know what the definition of a popcorn fart is? A popcorn fart. Corey.
Okay, it's when you are wrestling in a match, and before said match, you've stuck some kernels of popcorn up your nether regions, your backside, and throughout the match they heat up and then they pop out, and then after the match you reach into your trunks and have a popcorn fart.
An inventive and creative answer, but unfortunately,
I have an inventive and creative answer.
Go on, then, TJ.
because this is actually dedicated to Corey's city because he mentions Toronto, Ontario, Canada so much. Recently, a picture got viral on the internet. Bret Hart was sitting in the audience, and the person behind Bret was just like, covering their nose, and Bret was like, So
wait, what? What was this?
Yeah, there was a picture where it was clearly that Bret Hart farted. He had such a smile in his face, and the person behind Bret was like, this is so disgusting.
Well, it was excellently executed, no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. A popcorn fart is a heavily hyped match, incident, or event that sucks in execution or the fans don't enjoy.
Why does this seem like something that Jim Cornette would say?
It does, doesn't it?
It sounds like something that JR would say in comedy. Oh boy, that's a popcorn fart there.
Okay.
Room posts aren't covered in barbecue sauce, I tell you what.
What is a Broadway?
Buzz.
TJ.
If a match goes an entire hour.
Yeah, a time limit draw. It doesn't have to be an hour, but yeah, a time limit draw. What's this? Toronto what? Maple Leafs. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is that Bret Hart's team? Oh no, what were they called? The Hitmen something. Do you remember Bret Hart used to own like a hockey team?
Not in my country.
Yes, he did. I swear I'm not making this up. We need to fact check this. Oh my god, TJ, just leave that there whilst you're at work.
Yeah, I'm in the office. I need to do this.
Okay, so let's look this up. Bret Hart hockey team. Bret Hart hockey team. Okay, look, it's come up already. It was, wait for it, the Calgary Hitmen.
Oh wow, that was not in the NHL though.
I wouldn't know what that means. Right. Okay.
That's like our version of the
NFL?
National Football. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. Okay. So let's get two more. Who can tell me what a baby face is?
Was
Corey.
The opposite of Scott Hall, who was the bad guy. So
Yes.
good guy.
A good guy. And let's go for one more.
I have an answer as well. In real life, not Jim Cornette.
Yeah. Okay, last one I'll go with, and I want a fairly clear definition of this. What is the meaning of kayfabe?
Was
TJ.
I mean, okay, so it's like storylines, but I can tell you where the word came from. It was supposed to be dedicated to this fictional person, Kay Fabe. Like her first name was Kay, her last name was Fabe. It was dedicated to that person, but it just means something that's not real.
I'm not quite convinced with that answer there, TJ. Corey, do you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, great. It harkens back to the old Carney days when wrestling was like a carnival side show, and when the stuff that happened in the ring and the stuff before and after was intended to be interpreted as real by the audience. Like, these guys really don't like each other. They hate each other, even like the way that they enter the ring. Okay, yeah, this guy is this, and they really don't like each other. And it's the art of maintaining the illusion that wrestling and everything that happens within it
Corey,
is in fact real.
I'm going to give you the point there. You had many of the keywords here where I could be suspicious that you were reading it. But basically, it is the secret of... Whoa, we've lost Corey.
That's my screen. It's just you.
All right. Okay. It's like we're watching something from, like, Cloverfield or something.
Yeah. Well,
now, okay, it says here, a way of life, the old carny term for keeping the secret, the illusions of a rigged game, vital stipulation. So it is the secret, of what everything is.
Do you know, kayfabe is, funny enough, if you encode the terms be fake into Pig Latin, you get kayfabe.
Oh wow, that's cool. I wonder if that's part of the origin, because you just said it was some girl's name.
No.
Or is that just coincidence?
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just checking Wikipedia, and when I saw this, it's actually not Fabe. The rest, what I meant was it's based on the name of K Fabian, who was apparently mute, but it's also the Pig Latin for be fake, and I just tried to decode it into Pig Latin in my head, and I think it is K Fabe.
Yeah.
So if you remove the space in between.
Okay, well that's interesting as well. Okay, a couple more things let's react to. Something big again from the last couple of weeks, because we haven't had a show in a couple of weeks. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is back. What's any thoughts or feelings on the re-emergence of Bray Wyatt?
Got the whole world in his hands. I'll say, to start off the discussion, is I think they handled his return masterfully. Like, before he appeared, like, all these...
It was all downhill. It was like Veer Mahan all over again. The hype was all in the preamble.
Yeah, but that was really great, because like they're doing this on Marvel shows, as I'm sure you know, David, with like having QR codes in the background. You scan, like a comic book comes up and stuff like that. So they were doing. They're
doing that on Marvel shows.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's a bunch of QR codes in the back, and if you scan it, it's like, oh, this is like Werewolf by Night episode, whatever.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so they do that. They're doing that with like the Fiend, and just having like subtle hints at it, and like if you're really paying attention, you're like, oh, that's the Fiend and stuff like that. And at live events playing that song, it was just so incredible, like changing the lighting and stuff like that, but like never hinting into it really on screen. And then like also right before he arrived, there was like the person wearing like a rabbit mask and had like a sign behind Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Like they did like such a good job of like slowly ramping it up. It was a great, like for people that were really invested in it, which I don't think any of us really are. But for like somebody that's more invested, like not casual viewers like us, but like a person that really is into wrestling, would have really got a kick out of it.
No, I thought like the build up and everything was great. I think the real life versions of the puppets is cool. The new mask is interesting. I thought what they did with Wyatt on SmackDown last week was good. I thought that was good for, we're still waiting to see where this is going, basically. And it'll be just interesting to see what their actual plan is. TJ, what's your thoughts?
So my idea is I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. In my head, I think what they're doing is Bray. So he had all these versions: the Fiend, Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, the cult leader Bray Wyatt, Eater of the Worlds. You had Mercy the Buzzard, everyone else.
Wasn't he Sister Abigail in one match?
He was Sister Abigail as well.
He was supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't really work.
Yeah, but I feel like all of these were stuff in his head, and now somehow they have been released, and they have taken on other hosts. I feel like the Wyatt Six is going to be...
TJ, what you... Oh, no, This is Firefly Funhouse territory again. What do you mean? They've escaped his... They've escaped his psyche, and now they've possessed...
Exactly what you're gonna get.
I'm going to watch Dynamite and just cleanse myself of that idea.
So, I don't know if you noticed or not, what's her name? What's her name? Liv Morgan was acting weird. You have these people... He's doing something with the Wyatt Six, and there are 6 of them. All 6, they are characters from either the Firefly Funhouse or versions of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
And if it's 6 different people, then it's like it came out of his head, and now it's these 6 people. And you saw that promo. I think that promo by Bray at first, it was Wyndham Rotunda saying it was genuine Wyndham Rotunda. And then you had, whatever that character was. I don't know if you can call that Bray Wyatt or the Fiend or the White Rabbit or something completely different. I was like, yeah, you will see who's, you will find out about this and stuff like that. So, I think the problem with this is, so the good thing about Bray Wyatt is something that my favorite version of Bray Wyatt was the cult leader Bray.
Husky Harris, baby.
Husky Harris, yeah.
Not like even NXT Bray Wyatt. It was not like a supernatural character. His power was in his speaking. He could make the audience, kind of similar to, honestly, MJF and CM Punk. Like, he could make the audience believe what he's saying. He's the definition of a cult leader. Then they got him to the main roster.
The weird thing was, all of his promos, like when the Wyatt family was first a thing, I never understood a single one of them. It was just none of them made any sense.
Rambling Rabbit.
Yeah. Rambling Rabbit, yeah.
But no, I kind of always felt like he was kind of against the system. He was a more different kind of, this... What's the right word? What do you call a CM Punk or Stone Cold? Like, not anti-authority, but against the machine. Someone that's
and anti-establishment.
Yeah, anti-establishment, right?
Yeah.
So he was always like that, because he would always talk very, in this cryptic way, where he'd like, I want the old gods to go. And one of my favorite moments was when Triple H was champion. They did a tease with Triple H and Bray Wyatt, and he just touched the title, and the entire crowd went nuts. They were like, holy shit, we want this. It was when Triple H was world champion, and they did Triple H versus Roman Reigns that year.
But then he got squashed by Brock Lesnar.
He got squashed by, exactly. So the point is Bray Wyatt has always had this, and if you look at one of the reasons why I really like the Firefly Funhouse match, not as a wrestling match, but as an overall act, is that it also had that, you can call that an extended promo. It also had that realism, there was Vince where he said, it's good shit, and you had the thing where he wanted Cena to turn heel. He did all that, a lot of the things that this Bray Wyatt does, he said that, Wyndham Rotunda, a lot of things that he said that, I thought I was not capable of doing this. I thought you guys made me realize it's worth coming back to. A lot of it is very real. He was someone the machine did not think was,
would make it. Yeah.
However, he kept on reinventing himself. Um,
Yeah.
in a weird,
It's like
in a,
Jericho, baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a weird,
Ring of Jericho.
the Ring of Jericho. In a weird way, I also think like he's the perfect foil to Roman Reigns, but not in a way you would think. Like I remember a long time ago when they did the first Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family and Shield face off. A picture got viral where Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt were face to face, and everyone was like, maybe this is a future WrestleMania
Do you know what?
main
I think
event.
I was literally there. That was SummerSlam 2013,
Yeah,
and I
that
was
year,
I was
that year,
literally
yeah,
there. I saw that happen.
yeah. So like a lot of people at that time thought Roman's going to be the big baby face, Bray's going to be the big heel. But if you look into, things a
Yeah.
bit, if you again blur the lines between kayfabe and reality, the point of Bray Wyatt's promos back then was always that the system, they have their people, they have been lying to you, man. Anyone but you, Roman, all that. Roman, who was the company's person, was booed everywhere. Now he's the top heel. Bray would never be like a babyface, but Bray could be someone that's kind of anti-Roman.
Yeah.
Like you have the bloodline. If you look at all of them except for Sami Zayn,
Yeah.
they come from a very big wrestling family, and you have Bray
Yeah.
who picks up a bunch of lost souls, if I may.
Yeah.
You can have them. You can do a pretty good thing.
It'd be exactly like he could be like the CM Punk and the Elite, and then
Mhm.
you could get in a fight with him backstage, and then he'd be fired. Right.
And he would, yeah.
Finally,
Speaking of
this sounds like a plan.
But Bray Wyatt, the best thing that came from him was that I own this.
Oh my
mask.
god, that is freaking cool.
And also, I use it for a show that I do called The Masked Improviser.
Get your plugs
Don't
in.
you-
Which one are you?
I'm the host.
That's
This
you.
No, that's a young woman wearing. The
Damn,
Bray
man!
Wyatt.
I was gonna say you got quite a figure on you, but
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that just like a WWE merch
no,
one?
it's just random. Oh, this merch, yeah.
Yeah, that is super cool. That is super cool. There you go. You got to do it, man. You got to do it.
Scissor me, daddy. Okay. Very stupid.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Bray to be back, but genuinely, TJ, you've made me feel sick to my stomach at the idea that I think you may be right, because I just look, I appreciate everyone has their different tastes and that, but if what you said actually comes to pass, that would for me that would be
That's gonna
the
happen.
very worst case scenario imaginable. I'm not saying it's bad. I can believe that they'd do it, but if literally Triple H takes over and he just continues with Bray Wyatt is like a magical being thing.
No. Again, he doesn't. So that's the thing. He doesn't have to be a man. This doesn't have to be a
You just said his
magical
essence
thing.
is going into
No,
Liv
no, no,
Morgan.
no. I mean, that's what he believes. Bray could literally convince people. So what I would really want is, you could do this two ways. One, Bray hypnotizes people, blah blah blah. Two, Bray is such a good cult leader. He's such a good orator. He convinces people. He convinces Liv Morgan that she is Sister Abigail.
I'll tell you what they should do. They should, in tribute to Brody Lee, and I'm completely serious here, they should steal the Dark Order concept from AEW if they just put in hints where Bray says that, he's going to continue his brother's mission or whatever, and that he's having this secret organization where people across the company, he is recruiting them or something like that, and there is something where they do it and they're this organization, it's this is the true successor to the Dark Order, then they could actually pay tribute better to Brody Lee and being a different kind of cult leader than what AEW have done since Brody's death, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like Dark Order, they've been so diminished, which is such a shame, because there was a real opportunity there. They were a heel group, and
I think it was. Sorry.
No,
sorry,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say
I think it was-
they could have had the opportunity. Obviously, they brought in Eric Rowan for one or two appearances, but they could have done something. They had the opportunity last year or during this year, where they could have had Rowan, they could have had Wyatt, they could have had Strowman. They could have done something and made something of that, and they missed that opportunity.
I think it was like at that point it was so difficult for them to be a heel faction because again, if you look at them on Being the Elite, they are so wholesome. It's so difficult to really hate them. Like I think probably one of the reasons why Anna Jay left because she has that heel. She has that okay.
Yeah, she'll choke you out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean they could do something, but I mean back to what I was saying, I wouldn't want Bray Wyatt to magically control Liv Morgan. I would want Bray Wyatt to convince Liv Morgan that she is Sister Abigail. Like, a cult leader does not have magical powers. Their magical power is in their oration. So, will that happen? I mean, I'm also a bit skeptical because it's not something easy to pull off and they can mess up. If they give Bray complete creative freedom, I don't think he's going to mess up, but
I do. Like there's okay, so here's the thing. I think creative people are great, but if you give creative people complete freedom, things in my experience, I can't think of a single time it's worked out. Like this was
you get this.
Exactly, the sperm whale jacks.
You get this.
I can't believe you turned it instantly on me, Corey. Right.
You get this.
There you go.
That's what you get when you get full.
Well, no, the things which I was going to... The comparison I was saying in wrestling is they said, oh, Vince Russo made the Attitude Era. Then he went to WCW and had free reign for a brief period. And it was... Everyone just suddenly said, oh, actually, he needed Vince McMahon as an editor.
Rein him in.
He just,
exactly.
Everything he did was wild and crazy. And there's probably other examples in wrestling, but the thing that comes to my mind over the last year is when it comes to the superhero movies, that James Gunn got fired from Marvel, and then they let him do the Suicide Squad for DC, and it was just so. It wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy funny. Like every second word was swearing, and it to me, and like John Cena was in it, but like the whole thing went too far. He needed more. You can be really creative within limitations. If you're given free reign, you can go anywhere. And
you need a hurt and a heel.
Wow, you are all in on this Bray Wyatt thing. I'm like the sole person here trying to shit on the guy. It's not fair. No, I like Bray Wyatt is the thing. I like Bray Wyatt. I think like the Undertaker. I think spooky characters that you've had in the past, like Mysterio, like Sting and stuff like this, you can have a lot of fun. Was he a spooky character?
He was a Nazi.
What?
Keep going.
Is this just defamation now, Corey?
Yeah, right. Probably.
Like, imagine if Heidenreich somehow watches this. Now, so anyway, like I think some spooky characters can really work. But everyone that does really works, some others completely go downhill. Bray Wyatt is one of the more famous ones, but I think they have jumped the shark. Mostly, it was the pandemic's fault, because they would have never have done the Firefly Funhouse match other than for the pandemic.
Yeah,
and then,
truly.
and I know I always dump on that match, but then over the course of the months that followed, suddenly you had the stuff with Randy Orton and him being set on fire and puppets attacking people and then Alexa Bliss. And they did stuff because there wasn't an audience there, and they tried to be too creative. And they tried to do things that it's like, oh, wow, we don't have an audience, and now we can literally do teleportation. But it's like...
But that wasn't great. The only thing over there that was great was the Firefly Funhouse. The Fiend, Bray has said this, like he had a very different idea for the Fiend character. The whole red lights, that was all Vince. That was not great.
Oh my god, the red lights match with Seth Rollins.
That was the best match.
Best Hell in a Cell match ever.
It's just amazing. Like
there was too much violence, David. They had to stop it.
He had a giant clown mallet.
If
if you remember, like in the mid-90s, literally probably the year you were born, TJ, there was WWF the arcade game, and it was like Mortal Kombat. And Doink the Clown, you'd press some buttons, and Doink the Clown would get out a huge mallet and hit opponents with, and that was great. But you just knew that, and like Undertaker literally would go like this, and demons would fly out and attack you. It was the craziest video game. But now, it was like 20 years later, Vince was like, finally, the vision of that video game. It's coming true.
Yeah. And then there's the Boneyard
Long
match.
story
I like the
telling.
Boneyard match.
The Boneyard, yeah.
Yeah, the Boneyard.
I mean, the I think the Firefly. You can hate me for this, David, but I think the Firefly Funhouse match was my favorite match at WrestleMania both nights.
What? I am literally, and you think I'm kidding here, I am literally going to write a book about why that match was the worst thing that's ever happened in professional wrestling.
That's not the worst thing
Why?
that happened.
Here's why.
Why is that? Okay, TJ, I'm interested now. If you think that was the best match at WrestleMania, better than Undertaker's last ever match against AJ, the phenomenal AJ Styles, which showed that a cinematic match could be good, better than Drew McIntyre becoming the first British world's champion of all time.
I'm not British. That doesn't really do anything for me.
Okay, so what is the worst thing in wrestling of all time? Austin Theory. Austin Theory.
No. I don't know. I don't know what's the worst thing, but
My hole.
My hole. My hole. That was great.
I think that was funny.
Okay, Corey, do you have a nomination? What was the worst thing to happen in wrestling of all time?
Oof.
We may have to revisit this idea, but
I was going to go real dark. I'll just say,
Heidenreich.
John Heidenreich was awful. Yeah, when they tried to repackage him as the new Road Warrior,
yeah.
that was brutal.
And Hardcore. I always remember like Hardcore Holly was so pissed that he didn't get that opportunity. I was like, why would you get it?
Yeah. Also, like the whole Muhammad Hassan thing was just.
Yeah.
Let's cancel that. That was bad.
Speaking of repackaging, like when the Great Khali first debuted, everyone back in India were like, "Holy shit, this guy's from India," and I was the only one who's like, "No, the Undertaker's a good guy. This is a bad guy." They're like, "Where is your nationality?"
What? Do you know what? I am a big fan of the Great Khali.
Oh, no.
I genuinely think if he want, look, we saw when when Jinder Mahal was champion and Great Khali at the Punjabi prison match came out to help. Mahal was the champion, but Khali just took the belt and posed with it, and there was nothing that Jinder could do, and that's the reality of it. If Great Khali wanted to be world champion right now, he could be world champion right now.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying was, what was funny for me was, so, I mean, again, I was a kid. I didn't know wrestling was scripted back then. And Undertaker was the good guy. Great Khali was the bad guy.
2 years ago.
So, what happened was, then Great Khali, then I found out wrestling was scripted, and then Great Khali shifted from being this monster heel to someone who does kiss cams and who dances with Natalia, and everyone's like, dude, what happened to the Great Khali? I'm like,
no one should dance with Natalia. Ugh.
Yeah, not even her husband.
I've got nothing against Natalia. It was just funny to say. Right.
He's done so much work for the industry, David.
No, I really like Natty Neidhart. I really do. It was just funny to say. It could have been anyone's name. I forgot she was Canadian, Corey.
When they made her go through a table with her father's image on it, that was also one of the worst things in wrestling.
Yeah, I hate that. WWE have done that kind of thing so many times.
Kai.
And I think we also did we talked about it last time, but like the whole Vicky Guerrero becoming like this monster, like just heel, like she's a bad woman.
Well, the weird thing was, after Eddie died and Randy Orton was in a feud with whoever it was, with Rey Mysterio. He was saying stuff like, and if Eddie wasn't here, and stuff like that. And it sounded like, and at any moment you thought, watching wrestling, you'd expect Eddie's music to come on and he'd like return. And it's like, he can't. He's actually died, and this is like 2 months later. That was really poor.
Yeah.
Really poor.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit on the funnier side, Kai and Tai.
Indeed.
Just remember, choppy poo poo.
I don't remember that, actually.
You don't remember Kai and Tai?
No, of course Indeed, of course I do. I just don't remember choppy poo poo.
Sorry, pee choppy.
Oh yes, no, I do remember that. Yes. Val Venus, they were going to cut his ding dong off. Yeah.
Hello, ladies.
Wow.
You know one.
He's from Toronto, baby.
Wow.
You got
technically Orangeville. It's a suburb of the greatest city in the world, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Baby, scissor me, Daddy David.
Also, wasn't there one time when Vince wanted to do an incest angle with Stephanie McMahon, where he would have a kid with Stephanie McMahon?
Yeah.
I mean, this Vince guy is pretty
He's a sick man. Sick man.
Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, let's begin to wrap things up here, because I got a different show in about 10 minutes. On Vince's, on the incest angle, if Capelthave was here, he loves the incest quotes. Right.
Oh, no.
No, he genuinely does. It's become a thing on Geek Battle. Like, he says it every week.
He loves incest.
I'm not articulating this well, Corey. This, you know what, this is almost revenge.
I can see that about
No. Okay, I've got to clarify it now. Right. So we did like one of the Extreme Improv shows, and I don't know if I was meant to be Skeletor or someone, but I went like incest for some reason, and Capelthave saved this clip, and he just keeps randomly resharing it, and he loves it. It's very funny, but the message of this is Capelthave doesn't love incest, right? Well, I don't think we can quite end it on that specific note. Let's get a quote from the Iron Sheik at least. Let's refresh, because there's usually something that happens during the course of this show, which I don't know, which we should like. Well, we had some like sad news earlier, I guess. So Iron Sheik.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Okay, so the update from the Iron Sheik is. Okay. Oh my God, he's like doing promos for T-shirts or something. Let's get something else. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday, you dumb son of a bitch. That's not his best quote, to be honest. Is that really what we've got here?
Ruby Tuesday.
All people equally, go fuck yourselves. So that was the update there from the Iron Sheik. Let's find out where we can find everyone. TJ, where can the people find you?
In my office. This is not my
That's
office.
your office, like inside the mouth of Austin Theory.
I need to clear my background.
No, don't ever.
No, I need to do that, because if I forget, tomorrow I have a meeting. I don't want the same thing repeating.
Yeah, okay. Corey, where can the people find you?
Oh, baby. If you happen to find yourself in Toronto, Ontario, Canada on November 6th, you can see this dumb live show, The Masked Improviser. It's two things that general public hates, The Masked Singer and Improv. Bring it together, and that's what the show is.
Okay.
I also got my show, Good News Toronto. We bring you the pre-drink before Halloween. That's on October 28th at 8:30 p.m. Also at the Comedy Bar. Just go to the Comedy Bar. I'll probably be there.
Okay, fantastic. For me, I just want to remind everyone that our good friend Corey can be found in the town of Dildo.
We too.
Yeah. Wow, amazing stuff. We are still looking for the whereabouts of the missing CM Punk, so we should have some updates on that. Like I said, I'm working on like a long form video and some other stuff, which I'll be able to reveal details of soon. You would have in fact heard about it already, but because it's still an ongoing situation, it's taking on a life of its own. So look out for that soon. We're going to have a live Extreme Improv show, coincidentally with Corey holding that up. You can get some books I've written. You're going to get the book I wrote about the Firefly Funhouse and why it was the worst thing in wrestling ever soon enough. But you can get my other books, one that Corey was holding up, one that I'm holding up here. Go to Amazon, check them out. And we've got a live Extreme Improv show, which is our Extreme Improv Halloween Mayhem show, which is happening the day after Halloween on November 1st at the Cockpit Theatre in London. So if you're a wrestling fan, come along to that. Give some wrestling-based suggestions. Most of the cast won't know what they are. But last night on Extreme Improv, Rob had to do an impression of Barry Windham. So there you go. These things happen. Now, from me, from everyone else, keep slamming and jamming. Stay safe. Always stay extremed. And check.